All eyes will be on Hollywood this weekend and the 97th Academy Awards. We know that this is a night where movie royalty gathers to honor the best work of the year, and films like Wicked poised to be kind of an instant classic, right? You've got a dedicated fan base, which can mean pieces and props from that movie can live long after filming wraps. And later this month, pieces of other Hollywood history will go on the auction block, some for the first time ever. Our own Chris Van Cleve takes us behind the curtain for an early look.
It wouldn't have been Top Gun without Maverick's iconic leather bomber jacket. Tom Cruise wore it, and now it can be yours. But that need for speed does not come cheap. Bidding starts at $25,000.
Meow.
Michelle Pfeiffer's unforgettable Catwoman costume from 1992's Batman Returns is another of the more than 1,300 props and scripts from some of Hollywood's biggest hits going on the auction block later this month.
Wait a minute, what are you doing, Doc?
Among them, the Mr. Fusion generator seen on Michael J. Fox's time-traveling DeLorean in Back to the Future.
And this auction has some wonderful pieces in it that are being seen for the very first time.
Brandon Allinger is the chief operating officer of Prop Store, who is conducting the online and in-person auction.
Where does all this stuff come from?
It's a good question. I mean, that is the tricky part, and that's what we spend a lot of our time working on, is going out and sourcing this materials. The pieces in this auction have come from individuals who worked in the film industry. They've come from studios or production houses directly, all different industry avenues.
One of those avenues was director Randall Kleiser's attic, where for more than 4 decades, he'd kept the director's Bible from the classic 1978 movie Grease.
Some of these are folded up many times. They were probably in his pocket.
Inside this aged red binder, his handwritten notes and hand-drawn storyboards for classic scenes like this one.
Summer loving had me a blast.
Summer loving happens so fast.
What made you decide, like, now is the time to let it go to somebody else?
Because I just realized that my attic is filled with stuff that I don't need. You know, somebody might really love to have that original script.
Also up for sale, this T-Bird's jacket John Travolta wore in the movie. His name is even printed on the jacket's tag. You can see it in action during the Grease lightning scene. It's estimated to sell for up to $200,000, but could go for even more if the bidding takes off.
When you're shooting a movie, you don't really think about, you know, is this jacket's going to be expensive in 40 years or not. You're just busy trying to get the day's work done.
But when the movie becomes a hit, there's now an instant market for fans and collectors, and some will spend big to own part of their favorite flick.
I think our highest sale price at public auction is an X-Wing fighter model that we sold, which went for $1.9 million hammer price.
In this auction, it's 2 other Star Wars artifacts that could push 7 figures. This is the Medal of Yavin Luke Skywalker wears at the end of A New Hope.
Tell me how this went from around Mark Hamill's neck to up for auction.
So it's coming from the family of a prop man who worked on all 3 Star Wars films. And when they made those first 3 Star Wars films, especially the first movie, you know, the material just wasn't being saved in the way that it is from modern production. And because of that, because no one was actively collecting this material, the prop man was able to hold on to the metal.
What is it about Hollywood props that resonate with people so much so that they may drop 6, 7 figures to have it?
I think it is all about connection, and it's all about connecting with something that you love, and it's really telling the story of just how much these movies mean to people. You may fall in love with a movie at 7 or 8 years old, and it stays with you. You know, nostalgia is definitely a big theme in our world. The reason that they want to buy something is because this movie meant so much to them when they were younger.
The other big-ticket Star Wars item believed to be the one and only bowcaster Chewbacca used in the original trilogy.
Is it unusual for there to be only one?
It is, yeah. I mean, normally, you know, there's a saying in the world of prop masters that one is none. And what that means is they need to have 2 of something, because if you lose one or it breaks, it could be a very big problem, right? It could hold up a major expensive film production.
Can I touch it?
Sure, do you want to hold it? Here, we'll take it off the stand. There you go.
I mean, this is one of those things that you saw watching movies growing up. I mean, this has been seen, what, billions of times?
Exactly.
But before they can auction an item that may draw bids of $500,000 or more, Prop Store has to know it's the real deal. In what amounts to film forensics, they pore over production stills and high-resolution 4K versions of the movies, sometimes frame by frame, to screen match an item. Marks like these can be seen then and now.
There's some scratches here on the back of the frame that we can see specifically. Most important tell on the whole piece is this part right down here, which is an extension for the shoulder stock, and they installed that for the third film for Return of the Jedi.
The effort to identify which film this pair of Charlie Chaplin's shoes came from took weeks.
Fortunately, there were some really nice, high-quality production stills from The Great Dictator. We could see some very specific marks and folds in the leather that set us on the course.
So
for
you're
these.
looking down to the folds in the leather here to identify
Absolutely.
this to a movie.
Yeah, and you know, especially some of the wear where the lighter colors coming through. I think, you know, there's like a light wear pattern here, and then you've got this dark line cutting across it. You can tell it's that exact shoe.
It's like your own version of Prop CSI.
Yes, Prop CSI.
But not every item up for sale will break the bank. Bidding for the license plate off Hugh Jackman's car in the 2009 X-Men Origins Wolverine starts at $300.
What is the magic about a movie that it can last for decades, do you think?
Well, I think people, if they are touched by a movie, they want to have a piece of that. They want to have something that is tangible that reminds them of that experience that they had.
Which, considering Randall Kleiser has directed more than a dozen big Hollywood movies, raises an important question.
What else is in your attic?
Yeah. Well, I've got all my scripts and a lot of crew jackets.
Do you have a favorite piece of movie memorabilia at your house that you're not going to part with?
Oh, gee, I'm up for sale.
And the bidding starts soon. For CBS Saturday Morning, I'm Chris Van Cleve in Valencia, California.
Exactly what I was thinking. What else? What didn't he give? It's the nostalgia. I'd go for that T-Birds jacket like that, except I don't have $200,000 to start the bid.
Close enough. This is like pack rats rejoice. If
Yeah.
you've ever thought or had an argument with your partner about why you're hanging on to so much old stuff, tell them there may be an audience for it one day. That bomber jacket from Top Gun, who's had that for 30 plus years and hasn't let go of it just yet?
It's yours. Bid starting at $25K.
GoFundMe, here we come.